Today on the Auburn Torch, I want you to hear from Auburn Gymnastics lone senior Hannah Hagle and what went into an emotional return to the beam lineup for her last Friday. Plus, we got a little bit of news on volleyball and a little bit of more news for gymnastics. Let's get into it. Setting a timer because I keep going way too long. So, well, a stopwatch so I can see how long we've been going. Because 2 days ago we did a 25-minute episode of Torch Talk. I said, "Oh, we're gonna keep it tight," and then we went for 18 minutes yesterday. But we will keep it brief. Let's start with volleyball. Well, you know what? No, just kidding. Let's start with the all sports calendar, which I had pulled up. Big weekend, busy weekend coming up, starting with Auburn women's basketball on Thursday, hosting Alabama. Always want that one. First of all, today, the men are at Missouri. Fergie is in Missouri, touchdown this morning. So follow Auburn Observer for some, on-the-ground coverage. But then on Thursday, women's basketball is at home, hosting Alabama. And Alabama's good this year. They're like 14-1, but there is an opportunity there. Big opportunity there for Auburn if they can make something happen. And then look at this busy weekend. You've got 4 women's tennis matches, 3 men's tennis matches on Saturday and Sunday. You've got Auburn swimming hosting Florida. That'll be a big one. I'm trying to get to that one. That'll be exciting. See how they can keep up with. Florida's a dynasty. Florida's a lot like now what Auburn was back in the day, right? I guess when you think about the words Florida and swimming, it kind of goes together. But anyway, so that you may not expect, a lot of, I don't know. You might not expect Auburn to dominate or even win the meets, but it's a good indication of, I guess, SECs and NCAAs. I mean, the competition isn't going to get that much tougher. I mean, Florida was winning the SEC, pretty much every year in both until last year Texas came along. So I'm interested in that. And then also Auburn track is back in Birmingham for an indoor at Sanford. They were at UAB last weekend, and then a little ride up 280 for Sanford this weekend. Couple news items. Auburn has promoted Jack Burton to associate head coach, just a promotion from within on the Auburn volleyball staff. Rachel Corbelli is off the coaching roster, and I won't spoil it, but whoever has hired them is just taking their sweet time announcing it. Whoever has hired Rachel. But Auburn's just going to keep it rolling. Auburn's going to keep it going. Auburn also brought in this past season Rachel Sunder, who was a standout player at UCLA. And look, Liz Markovska, graduate assistant. That's new. I have not seen that yet. So Jack Burton, who's been there with Crouch this whole time. Rachel Sunder from UCLA. That's a blue blood program in volleyball, in the volleyball world. So just keeping it going with what they've got. That's seems to be the plan for them. One other thing I wanted to touch on, Sophia Bell at College Gym News, which, listen, if you guys don't know about College Gym News, if you're just an Auburn fan and you're thinking, oh, it's a gymnastics fan site. No, man, these guys, these mostly girls, are legit. It's a very, in this house, the College Gym News is is an authority outlet, right? An authority voice. They named Sophia Bell their Gymnast of the Week because she got a lot of attention with that double Yurchenko, and then underrated part of it, the 995 on floor. That's you're seeing the vault shared everywhere, but hey man, 995 on floor. So yeah, they're Sophia Bell, Gymnast of the Week, another just turning heads, really turning heads, and then Auburn was mentioned one other time, outrageous moment. They linked when I pointed out the gymnastics have their own hype video. I missed half of it. Hopefully I can get a video of it this next time. That the first meet, the first time you're anywhere, the first time you're in a press box, the first anything, and I've got a new laptop because of the torch, right? So the first time you're there, you're like, do I have the right dongle? Do I have the right, to convert my Ethernet to USB? Do I need to do USB-C or USB-A? And oh my gosh, I have to charge it using the USB-C port, so maybe I need a USB-A converter. And then where's my headphone jack? Do I need to? So, that first, any reporter will tell you that first game, that first meet of a new season. We're getting in mid-season form too, right? So I missed it. So we'll see. The whole meet was kind of hopefully you guys didn't see anything lacking in my coverage, but the whole thing was kind of, I didn't have my Excel sheet set up yet for scores, and you got to get in mid-season form, right? Hopefully it wasn't that bad. So we will see in a couple weeks with Florida. I'll try to grab that video. I think that's it for general news, general housekeeping. But I want to introduce. Oh, I have one more. I got one more. I want you to take a look at this. Okay, that was loud. Let's try this. Look who it is. Kiko Jong, back on bars. Doing the real landing, no foam pit, none of that. Back on bars, just sticking a dismount. And Auburn shared that one publicly and wanted to spread the word that Kiko's working her way back. So again, my understanding is, February-ish, maybe even late January, was he? Let's take a look and be on Kiko watch to when she might can join the team mid-season. And I realized last night that Olivia Greaves, her freshman season, when she was coming back from injury, she missed the first 4 weeks, I think. So sticking with gymnastics to close us out, I want you guys to meet Hannah Hagle, an important part of Auburn's team. She is a senior. She is Auburn's only senior. Really, her and Liv are the same class, but Liv had a medical red shirt. Hannah's a role player for Auburn, but an important one. And last Friday, got back on the saddle and back on beam for the first time in a year, because she didn't log a start last year, as she was working through just being a depth piece, but also she was working through an off floor, off beam and off gym, out of gym medical issue that kept her certainly from being her best. So she was emotional last Friday when she got to start on beam and nailed her routine. Very important routine, really, because there's no we can't downplay it. A big time routine, because Auburn's the Weary, the new transfer from West Virginia, came off the beam. So everyone who stayed on the beam, that's a big deal. And to drop that score, Hannah was part of that. Scored a 9.825, which that'll pay some bills. That'll work. So 9.825, which helped Auburn get this 197 score, and really especially with the new NQS, it seems like basically every meet counts. So I want you guys to meet Hannah Hagle. I don't have video from the press conference, but I have audio. So I want you guys to hear from Hannah herself on, first of all, what it was like to get back on beam and to get that start and to do very well last Friday. And then the legend, Jeff Shearer, is going to ask her about her love of the sport and like why she even worked so hard to come back, right? Like why did she go through all this to come back? So here's Hannah.
Yeah, it was really emotional for me personally because last year I had a lot of non-gymnastics related medical issues. And so, like, that was the first time I competed since my sophomore year. And so for me, it was just a moment of gratitude to be in that moment and to just finally go out there and do something that I really didn't think I could do again. So yeah, it was really emotional for me. I think just the love for the sport. I think when something's taken from you and you not really sure why or what's going on, you are left with a lot of confusion. But deep down, you know that you do still have a love for the sport and you do want to give it all that you have for one more year.
That's Hannah Hagle, and I will add here, this is what head coach Jeff Graba said about Hannah and what she means to her teammates.
I think they know, all our athletes know what their friends are going through. This is a tough sport. It's an extremely tough sport. She dealt with a lot last year outside of the sport, but it did impact her year. And I think everybody watched that and noticed it. And now they're seeing how she handles it with grace and with poise. So I think she's helping them grow up a little bit at the same time as maybe appreciate where they are and what they have. I think as a young person, I remember myself as a young person, I took some things for granted that, there's not many places in the country that you go and compete in front of sold-out arenas and have an atmosphere like Neville Arena. So I do think she brings that to the table, like appreciate where you are and enjoy the process.
All right, so we're well over 10 minutes again. Hey, real quick, though, before we go, auburntorch.com, new article this morning on Olivia Greaves and her long journey back. I mean, if you're an Auburn fan, I think some of this might even surprise you. How she has had Jeff Gray, and shout out to Jeff who really opened up on it and didn't, he doesn't shy from kind of the tough topics, but Greaves, I mean, you guys don't know, like she's a big name in especially the gymnastics circles, because for the Olympics in Tokyo, she was one of those prospects that was kind of circled, and things didn't work out. Things don't work out for a lot of gymnasts, right? And a lot of tough stuff, a lot of really tough twists and turns, and it's because it's a tough sport, which we get into. But I think after a lot of that, there's a lot of public scrutiny and a lot of gosh, I mean, this sport is crazy. I mean, and it's just a little teenage girl getting injured in front of a crowd of people, and in this day and age, even in like the 80s and 90s, I mean, things were awful for them. So in a lot of ways we've progressed, but in at least one way, the internet now, right? Like the internet, like back then it was kind of behind, and now it's kind of out in the open. A lot of public discourse about, oh, she's hurt, will she ever get back, she ever do this, and outside noise and whispers, and but here, listen, here she is now, defining her career for herself, instead of injuries and things like that defining her career. The happenstances of her career defining her. That's not happening for her at Auburn. So check it out. I also get a little into it. I break up her bar routine. What separates? There's a connection she either makes or doesn't make. We've got video side by side for you to check out. And what makes a great routine for her? She's a phenomenal bars worker. Has unlimited potential on bars. Like, I'm serious, like national championship potential on bars. And what makes a really good bars routine for her turn into a truly excellent bars routine? There's a connection that she makes, and also something about there's a little bit about handstands in there, and you should be able to see on the video exactly what she's talking about. So, all right, let's call it. Hey, tomorrow nothing on the calendar today except for men's basketball tomorrow, women's basketball, and then busy weekend. So for all of it, keep it locked here, auburntorch.com.